fierce storm rips across a country village. A group of strangers search for shelter. A past its best manor, owned by a past her best, Lady Diana. Not that one. Circumstance leading characters into conflict. Dramatic structure that's so well worn, you'd think it would be impossible to fail. But it's not. The events that unfold over the course of a night and a day, or the 2.5 hours of Moira Buffini's new, though far from original play, Manor, seem intended to be twists and turns and surprises. They may well be for some, if you have never consumed any television, film or book, like ever, in your life. But if you haven't rejected society and lived off-grid until today, there's a fair chance you've seen this strangers in a room construct before, but done better. Much, much better. For a short moment, there's a deal of promise for the night ahead, as the majesty of designer Les Brotherston's just pre-dilapidation English manor house is revealed. It is part authentic, part cartoon, part fairground ride, and it leads to small gasps of wonder from the audience. The brief reverie is shattered by Owen MacDonald, caterwauling to rock music blaring from his headphones. This character may be summarised in his notes as a soon-to-be murdered, but maybe not really, ex-one-hit wonder, bit of rough-turn, middle-aged mushroom-taking has-been, or Pete, the lady of the manor's husband. Though MacDonald's diction is unclear and his on-drugs acting is rather questionable, we think this may be down to just some first-night nerves. After all, the set we have seen has shown such great potential. Unfortunately, the performance turns out to be more portentous to the remaining 150 minutes. 150 minutes may sound longer than 2.5 hours it is. Certainly feels plot. There's little more to say than has already been said in the opening. Little that's either useful or surprising. It's less like a narrative, more like a group of half-finished works in progress that have been thrown together last minute in the hope they will create some structure on their own. But to show willing, and as you're here for the next 7.5 minutes, let's follow the advertising lead and focus on the somewhat easy-to-sell stars of the show and their lead roles. We have Ted, Shaun Evans. He is the leader of a political party of sorts called Albion, who take the misguided patriotism of the disenfranchised Middle England and massage it slowly until it becomes racist, sexist violence, and he is one of these strangers asking, or in his case demanding, for solace and shelter at the manor. For himself, his deputy Anton, Peter Bray, and his girlfriend Ruth, Amy Forrest. Though Ruth, who is blind, obviously, arrives later. It transpires Ted has left her in the car. Has Ted beaten Ruth? Are Anton and Ruth actually in love? Why does Ted have so much control over Anton? Nobody is asking any of these questions. The answers are blindingly obvious from the beginning. No pun intended. Evans is tired of being seen as a mother's favourite from portraying pre-John Thor. John Thor in ITV1's Endeavour. You can see why he jumped at the chance of this role, to play against type. On paper, Ted might be described as a terrorist in politician's clothing. A suave, smooth-talking, boy-next-door type whose appeal makes him more dangerous. In fact, his character has no grounding to it. He spends his time either shouting or trying to fuck Lady Diana. Again, not that one. He has the appeal of Adolf and stirs as much fear as Farage. There is a gem for thought here about how we look at the historic battles the English fought and see it as bravery. But when we look at the contemporary self-proclaimed patriots and their fighting, we call that violence. Given more time, with characters given more depth, this could be a provocative argument on the state of the nation today. It could be. But it appears Buffini may have got sidetracked, or perhaps just bored. Just as Buffini starts to get into depth of one character, she seems to throw them aside and delves back into the pick and mix bag of controversy to create another character out of a single dimension. Eventually, everyone in the manor reveals their unsurprising cliché. It's like listening to a group of attention-seeking children, all professing to having migraines that are more deserving of your sympathy than the other children's headaches. It's like the top 10 of tired traits. The friendless only child, the lesbian teenager, the gay vicar, the single mother nurse who's studying to be a doctor, the outcast, the orphan ex-criminal with a heart of gold, the drug-addled has-been, the wife beater, the political extremist, and number one, it's the less abled woman. But sometimes you need a cliche or two for the audience to get straight away. But this could be every plotline that Ian Beale has ever faced. And at least in a soap opera, they spread things over months or even years. Buffini takes all this and grams it into a couple of hours. They have no room to breathe as characters, let alone develop. You won't believe in any of them. On the small off chance that you did believe in them, you wouldn't like them. Though there were 10 traits there, they only cover 9 characters. I say characters, they're more pencil sketches than anything fully drawn. The political extremist doubles up as the wife beater. Like you needed me to tell you that. The 10th character is the aforementioned Lady Diana. If you're wondering why the name, it seems it's purely done as a gag she thought would amuse us. It doesn't. This is the standard of the jokes that are dribbled out occasionally, appearing as awkward, unwanted and uncomfortable as Meghan Markle at the Daily Mail's front desk. Diana is played by Nancy Carroll, known for playing Anne Tennant in The Crown. I have no idea what Anne Tennant herself is known for. Diana used to be a rebel. She likes sex. She's rubbish at business. She's scared of being alone. She loves the manor, and she doesn't know how to love. We know this list of things because she tells us. Like we know she wants to fuck Ted because, apropos of nothing, she invites him to her room and suddenly can't keep her hands off him. They nearly fuck on the table at one point, yet there's no spark displayed, no chemistry between them at all. It's like they've been told to do it. They tell us they want to fuck, so our belief is unimportant. It's an approach that's common throughout the whole play. It's also how we discover that her daughter, ISIS, the god, not the terrorist organisation, elicits no more laughs, doesn't have any friends. I don't have any friends, Leo Dunley reads from the script, before adding the not too unusual statement, I'm 20 years old and I still live in this house. Which is odd because, somewhat contradictory to this setup of characterisation, she then proceeds to snog the face off some girl she has just met. The kiss comes from nowhere. It has no purpose except to perhaps shock us. For the remainder of the play, the girls are holding hands and embracing and kissing, which I guess is their way of telling us they are in love. The play is a litany of such contradictions, and conversations that have unmotivated actions, unprompted backstories, and unclear arguments. There are declarations of love, there are threats of violence, there are religious debates, there are extremist views shared, there are racist comments made, and there are 2 deaths. And in all that, there is not one moment of drama. Even the initial strength of the set loses its shine. Director Fiona Buffini, yes, the sister,
Oh, the Buffinis.
makes no use of her surroundings. She plonks her characters meaninglessly, as though her only objective is to achieve clear sightlines, for which we are grateful, but adds nothing to the drama. Much of the action takes place downstage of the set they'd built. They only realise afterwards that they'd missed out the most important areas of the house. It's like they're performing on the stage of another play, and the set doesn't belong to them.
Oh, the Buffinis.
The director doesn't seem to have looked any further than a manual on how to block.
Oh, the Buffinis.
The writer doesn't seem to have a consistent view on what she wants to put across.
Oh, the Buffinis.
As a comedy, it can't decide whether to be farcical, dark, or satirical. It tries a bit of all and ends up being none. As a political argument, it offers no more depth than a tabloid headline throwing in our faces. Then another, then another, then another.
Oh, the Buffinis.
The actors, God bless them, rarely give anything but the words off the page. And the words aren't great. Overall, we have a play that doesn't seem to know what it is. So if they don't know what the play is and what it has to offer, how are we supposed to? If it's trying to be all things to everyone, Manor really has nothing to offer anyone at all.